in your early life, you had to transcend a world that was not as accommodating as it might be today. Please share with the audience how you progressed from being blind at birth through college and into your profession.
When I was born, it wasn't known that I was blind. I was born 2 months premature and given a pure oxygen environment, which was the standard thing to do for premature kids. And it had been discovered by a gentleman at the Wilmer Eye Institute in Johns Hopkins that doing the procedure of giving a child pure oxygen environment could cause blindness, but medical science wasn't ready to recognize that. They didn't realize that too much of any good thing is a problem. But the bottom line is, after about being born and living 4 months, my aunt discovered or noticed that I wasn't reacting to sunlight. And when they took me to the hospital to have my eyes examined, they discovered that I was blind. The doctor's response to discovering that was to tell my parents, send him to a home for handicapped children because no blind child can ever grow up to be a contributor to society. And all he's going to do is take up all the love in your family, and that won't be good for your older son. My parents said, you're wrong. He can grow up to do whatever he wants to do, and we're going to give him that opportunity. And I grew up with that kind of attitude. So I was born in Chicago, traveled around the neighborhood with my brother and cousins and so on. Went to kindergarten in Chicago at the age of 4, and my parents had advocated and worked with other parents of blind children who were born premature, mostly, that needed to deal with it, and they actually got a kindergarten class set up for for blind kids. And so in kindergarten at the age of 4, I started to learn Braille and learn some other things. And the bottom line is that then next year we moved to California, and I ended up having to take a second year of kindergarten because credits didn't advance going from Chicago to California that kindergarten is already done. So the other problem is that there were no programs for blind kids where we grew up in the Antelope Valley in Palmdale, California. So until the 4th grade, I didn't have access to Braille books, but my parents took up the slack and helped me with things. My dad taught me how to do algebra even in my head by the time I was 6. And my mother helped with things and so on. And then I was able to, at the age of 8 to 9, going into the 4th grade, the school had several blind children by then, and they hired a woman, Cora Hirschberger, as a resource teacher to help blind kids in the school district. And so that got me Braille books and so on, which was great. And along the way, I kind of developed an interest for science. My father was an electrical engineer, and so I was always interested in radios and stuff like that, and he got me a radio kit and things like that. But the bottom line is that science always interested me. So I joined the Boy Scouts also, and did pretty well. I became an Eagle Scout in the Boy Scouts of America, joined the Order of the Arrow, the Honor Society, and became Vigil, which is the highest rank available in the Order of the Arrow. My father and I both got our ham radio licenses when I was 14. He waited until I could get mine so that we could share the hobby. And then at the age of 14, going into high school, I got my first guide dog. I had been just walking around my neighborhood and school and so on without anything, a guide dog or a cane, because no one really taught that stuff. But also I was able to hear well enough to navigate. But going to high school, which was a much larger environment, that was a problem. So we had met someone who helped, I think, and advocated for me to be able to get a guide dog at the age of 14, and I did. I got my first guide dog, Squire, who's a golden retriever, and went through high school, did well there, and then went to college at the University of California at Irvine.
This is Dr. David D. Schein for Saving America. Please subscribe on your favorite platform.